Thanks for staying with us. Natural human instincts are quick to push the blame on someone else when things go wrong. This is particularly prevalent in Nigeria, where we always blame the government for every single thing, not remembering we have areas where we have relegated our responsibility. And the moment you take responsibility for everything in your life is the moment you can change anything in your life. This was said by Hal Elrod. When you're personally accountable, you take ownership of what happens as a result of your choices and action. You don't blame others or make excuses. You do what you can to make amends when things go wrong. To become more accountable, you have to make sure that you're clear about your roles and responsibility. So how can taking responsibilities be used as a tool for national transformation? Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. So I'm going to bring in Chinasa in a minute, but I wanted to just hear your thoughts, on the conversation for tonight, because it's so quick for people, especially around here in Nigeria. You just keep hearing, I beg government. But it is not government that is throwing bottles out the windows. It's not the government that is, beating traffic lights. I mean, we talk about this all the time. It's not the government that would probably see something going wrong and just keep quiet and just move on. It is us as a people. So why are we not taking responsibilities for some of our actions, and we're just trying to push everything to the government?
So when it comes to taking responsibility, I think that it's fair for people to call government a lot. I'm not saying that we do not have a lot to do, but the system has decayed so much that even when one person or an individual decides to do the right thing, you realize that there isn't a collective will to do the right thing for even people in government. So you're talking about beating traffic lights and throwing bottles on the road. Those that our leaders do it as well, right? So there is an ingrained lawlessness and indiscipline within us. I mean, if we're having this conversation around personal taking responsibility and all that, maybe I'll have a lot to say. But on this one, I'll just leave it to the guests to tell us how to take their responsibility.
But I beg to differ, Elsie. Every transformation that you see is somebody that took personal...
was deliberate about making that change.
I agree. I'm not saying we shouldn't. I mean, personally, I'm doing my bit and I'm ensuring. I mean, there was a day I was driving through and it was very early in the morning. Children were going to school and you could see them just throwing their bottles and their debts out of they call it kekemawa, right? The tricycle. And my first instinct was to maybe find a way to sort of pack them and have a conversation with them. But that was too early. They were probably rushing. And of course, the tricycle man is not going to accommodate that kind of conversation at that time. And it got me thinking, what do they teach them in school? What have your parents taught you? Why do you think it is proper for you to litter the road while going to school? So it is something that is already in our culture and it's ingrained. And yes, I agree that we have to personally begin to train ourselves and train our children to do better. But people who are supposed to also lead by example are not doing the same thing. So I'll give you an example. I mean, it's someone you like to use as an example, who is Fashola, right? When he was leading Lagos State, there's a lot of things that's now our culture now that we thought was impossible. And he knew that he had to put in stringent punishments now to ensure that works. I mean, in Lagos State, we didn't used to use seat belts. It was... People thought it was impossible. I remember when the law was passed, we were like, now wow, how are we going to be comfortable driving? But now it is part of our culture to get into the car and use our seatbelt without anybody telling you. Of course, there are so many people who still do it because they don't want to pay the fine. But he was able to understand that something has to be done to our psychology to ensure that we understand that it's a way of life. And he did that to not just seatbelts. I think there are different areas that I can't begin to mention now. So if we're going to get there, we actually need a leader that will lead by example, look for ways to infuse those rules and regulations that would help us reorientate ourselves. But if we're talking about just doing it, Nigerians...
Okay, Isi, let me come to you.
She nailed something. She said something that actually resonated with me, and that was in the educational part. And when she talked about the fact that our psyche has to be rejuvenated, there has to be a redirection of our thoughts. What actually moves us to actually make that decision to take responsibility? There are different facets that can, guide us towards this. And that could be our geographical environment. It could be geographical, it could be social, and it can be the educational background you have. So in this context, she said something. What are they teaching these children? What are they teaching the children? If you look at children that go to the general public school, the mindset, the way they think is totally different from, in quote, some children in some set of private schools. So what are the kind of things we are inculcating in these children is something we should also take into cognizance. I am of the opinion that if you as a teacher, an educator, you are not you're not making that change you want to see and not being the change you want to see. What are you going to feed the younger generation? What are you going to give to the next generation? So I think it's essential we be the change we want to see. Taking responsibility and taking ownership is crucial.
I hear people say a lot that we have to do the bottom to top approach. But I think it has to be both ways, from top to bottom and bottom to top, because it is
taking responsibility. Issue. I mean, this evening someone sent me a very interesting message about Third Mainland Bridge and saying that, the bridge had opened up, people should be careful, tell people to avoid it, and you can see that this thing has already been forwarded to so many people. And, responsible behavior, even outside of maybe journalism or whatever, responsible behavior is, if you can, try to verify certain things. You understand? And quickly I put a call through or a message to the Minister of Works PA, and he said that's a big lie. In fact, that the Commissioner, I think, for Works had just passed that there's no such thing like that. So why I say that taking personal responsibility goes a long way. Just imagine how we are like pawns in the hands of a lot, because we already know that there are so many people propagating certain kinds of agendas, right? So as a responsible person, you can't just jump into conclusion. You hear something about something, you just go like that. We do not take our time to verify. We do not take our time. I love that Chimamanda, I keep saying it, I love that her speech that she gave on the dangers of a single story. Do you understand? Because we know that so many things are happening right now. But if we as a people just step back for a minute and say, you know what, let's analyze and look at this thing, I think we'll go a long way in helping, this change that we're trying to seek for in our nation it will go a long way. So that's the part I say personal. Because you see, there are so many things you cannot control. I understand the part of leading by example, I know the part of leadership and all of that. But there are some things that, baby steps, that if you start to take, it can have a very big ripple effect on the overall transformation that we're hoping to see. But let me bring in our guest. Chinasa Winifred Amaechi is the founder of Mind to Mind Initiative, an organization established with the aim of providing mentoring, platform, and opportunity for young Nigerians. Her efforts over time has given birth to multifarious initiative geared towards reorientating the minds of young people towards accepting responsibilities for their desired change in the social, economic, and political landscape of our nation, and by extension to the continent of Africa. She's focused on building on the resource community through technology, and she's joined us live in studio. Thank you so much, Chinasa.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, it's such an interesting conversation. You are like a square peg in a square hole, right? When we're talking about, this topic, and I mean, Elsie suggested that, I think she has the perfect guest for it. I said, okay, that's perfect. We can have this conversation, because I am tired of us trying to push, because it's so quick. I mean, that's the lazy man's approach. It's so quick for something to go wrong today. Say, it's not my fault, it's not my fault, it's Elsie. We are so quick as a people to do that, So when I saw this topic, I said, okay, for a change, maybe we should actually start looking at it from that approach where everybody says, you know what, where's the role that I need to play in this overall big picture that we're looking for? Maybe you should start, with why. Why is taking responsibility important?
Okay, good evening. Thank you for having me. I've known Essay for a while now, and the thing is, I'm particularly happy about this topic, because this is what I've lived for, and I heard you guys saying something about being an orphan. Yeah, I was an orphan at 10.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's why this topic, resonates with me. Now, you know, taking responsibility is very crucial, is very important. And to me, it starts from the family circle. That's my own, you know, notion about it. Because you have family where some parents don't make their children take responsibility. You know, they leave everything to their maids, you know, to the people helping them. I remember growing up, my foster father said something. He said that if he happens to be, if he wants to get married as a billionaire, he will prefer to marry a housemaid. And that got to us. I was like, but Dad, why would you do that? He said, yes, that because, you know, with 100,000, the housemaid will, you know, multiply it into maybe 100 million. But you with your brain, your fine face, you know, you won't do anything because you've not gone through those tutelage that this housemaid is going through, you know, with your mom and other people. And that dawned on us like, okay, everything we have to take responsibility, you know, and house chores was shared and everybody, you know, began to do, you know, things for themselves. And, you know, again, when things happen in the house, you know, maybe you do something that is bad and your parents are asking who did this. It's also your responsibility to own up, to say, I did it, and not to lie about it. Yeah, take the punishment, and you're building that child, you're building that individual. Because now my parents are no longer there, you know, but they've molded me into the young, focused woman I am today, because they were stern and they taught me how to take responsibility. And that's why, you know, in my 20s, I wrote a book called Change Begins in the Mind. You know, for you to see, I had some friends relocating from Nigeria to London, to Canada, to US, you know, and they're like, I had the opportunity to be in the UK, but I came back. And we're like, what's your problem? Why are you behaving as if you are the only passionate Nigerian? I said, yes, some group of people made this country to be what it is today. That's why you can take selfies, you can take pictures and send on your WhatsApp or on your Facebook. I said, I want to be among the few that will make Nigeria great again. And they were looking at me like, is this girl foolish? But I came back. And not just to be among the bandwagons, you know. I thought to myself, I said, what will I do to contribute to national building? And I came up with the book, Change Begins in the Mind. And in my introduction, I said, just imagine yourself to be the president, the prime minister, the minister of finance. How well is that country? How wealthy, how organized is that country? If you cannot get a satisfactory answer, that means the process of change must begin with you. So you must be a catalyst of transforming your country. I believe so much in Nigeria, and I believe that if everybody can, you know, do their bit, taking responsibility, Nigeria will be a desired country that everybody, you know, wants to see.
So I like that you are passionate about Nigeria,
yeah,
and came back for that purpose. Also, I know that you organize events for young people to speak to them. How would you rate the impact of these conversations in the minds of young people? Because like you said, people are going out of the country. And when they see somebody like you who have said, come rain, come sunshine, I'm going to be here to see what I can do in my own capacity to ensure that Nigeria becomes great, right? So what do you think those conversations do to the mind?
Okay. I'm a product of what you just asked me now. You know, growing up, I thought the world has ended. I thought, oh, what will become of me? You know, growing up without, you know, blood parents and all of that. But I have a cousin called Dupe Ogunro. She told me one day, said, Chinasa, your destiny lies in your hands. So whatever you make of it depends on you. And that was when I woke up. I was like, no, I have to, you know, start taking responsibility, start, you know, thinking of what my life will become. And God, you know, gave me a mother called Mrs. Adiola Aziz. She's one of the founding members of Wimbies. Some of you might know her, you know, and she has played the mother role in my life so well. She pushed me to the extreme. She makes me believe that there is nothing impossible. And she doesn't, I repeat, she doesn't tolerate nonsense. You know, so you must be what you talk about. You know, and also God gave me a father like Itwai Godalo, you know, who tells me that, my daughter, you can achieve anything you want to achieve. You must be an ambassador of what, you know, others needs to see. So those people has helped shape my life, and they tell me what that encourages me, you know. And whenever I find myself anywhere, in fact, Mrs. Aziz literally changed the way I dress. Because I remembered one day she was like, okay, we should go for an event. You know, she's a public, you know, also a public speaker. And there was something I wore. And when I got to her office, she was like, where are you going to? I'm going to share. Sorry, you know. And she has helped mold the way I look, the way and she was like, you don't know what you're, you know, building you for or something. So when you talk to young people constantly, those words don't go away. You don't know that those words are sinking, because by the time they face with challenges, they are faced with things that will challenge those things you've taught them. They will put it into practice. And that is what I've done over the years. Like, whenever I want to do something, I remember some few people in my life, especially Mrs. Adiola's is Itwai Godalo, because the first thing that will come to my mind, what would they say? So it's not necessarily the teachers and the school, it's the family. Because there's a word he always tells me, he'll tell me, remember the daughter of who you are. So that word always leads me.
So that phrase, I don't know how relevant that phrase is today. And I'll say it with all sense of responsibility. Because when you say remember the child of who you are, if you see the father of the child, you know, it's almost like in those days we had a lot of things that we would hold on to say these are no-go areas, these are standards and all of that. But today, those lines are blurry, right? So I don't know how that phrase will work in the mind of today's youth, right? To make them say, you know what, let me take responsibility for certain kinds of behavior or action. When the people that you think you are supposed to be looking up to are even doing 10 times worse than what it is that you're doing. But we're going to take a break. When we come back from that break, I think EC has a question. We'll be right back. Now, if you just tuned in, we are having an amazing chat with Chinasa on taking responsibility as a tool for national transformation. Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. So, EC, you had a question?
Yes. I'm glad you talked about reinforcement. What we call it in education is reinforcement, whereby you have to keep repeating something or a particular topic or whatever you're teaching the child for the child to be able to understand it. So you keep going back to it. It's called reinforcement. Now, what my question is on tenacity. Okay, most of the youths of today, they have their passion in social media, different things basically. But where is the role of tenacity in the youths for nation building?
Okay. A lot of youth, for me, they have the tenacity to see a better Nigeria, especially the youth here in Nigeria and also the youth in diaspora. Now, the thing is, parents, it still boils down to the family. You must teach your children how to fight. You must teach your children how to, you know, don't give up on things easily. And like you said, I organized an event for all private schools, secondary schools in Nigeria, you know, and through the help of Dr. Christopher Kolade. And you realize that the people we consider to be the elite I stand to be corrected. Those children in the slum, those parents actually produce better children when it comes to character.
That's what I was saying.
Do you understand? Because they know they don't have much. Their future is their children. So they instill, you know, every values that those children need to stand out. That's why when you say, like Barack Obama, for instance, his parents were not that, you know, in America. but the mother instilled everything she had in him.
Yeah.
And that was what built a strong character in him. Right? And that was why he was able to fight even the racism in Chicago, you know, and every trouble that came his way. Now, tenacity for children has to start from the family value. It has to start from the family circle. You know, teaching your child that, even from the children of the elite as well. You know, you can let the children know, oh, the money is there, but you just have to fight because I might not be there. I have an aunt. Her name is Mrs. Amaechi. She's the owner of John 3:16 Fascinator. Hair fascinator. She's a, sorry. Now, she has a son and a daughter. And she tells this boy that don't think everything you're saying is your right. If you don't work well, if you don't behave well, we will hand everything over to charity. Do you know, at 10, Mrs. Amaechi takes her son, Osato, to a bookstore where she pulls down everything for that boy to rearrange them. And this is the boy that goes to St. Saviour's. Now, what's she doing? She's building that boy to have tenacity.
Absolutely.
And never to give up. And she will sit there with him. This guy will arrange. If it takes 6 hours, 4 hours, so be it. Her friends were like, Emma, why are you doing this? She said, you guys might have 6, 10 children. I just have 2. So I need to instill these values. As I speak to you, Osato is in America today. Osato should be 15 or 16. Osato is behaving as if he's 25. Now the mother has instilled tenacity, value, not giving up on that young man. So it is every parent's duty. A lot of elites out there today, they've left the responsibility to their maid. They've left the rest. You see some people come to social media, you know, talking about their maid, about, you know, it has become fashionable.
So let me ask the question. What are we losing as a people not taking responsibility for our actions? What are we losing?
We are losing a lot. First, we are losing value. 2, we are losing responsible, we are losing future responsible leaders. Because recently I relocated to Abuja. You know, getting to Abuja, I began to understudy my environment. And I noticed that some people have this entitlement mindset.
A lot.
Like things are supposed to come to them. Like seriously? You know, in Lagos here, you have a lot of young people aspiring, you know, growing their career, you know, taking necessary exams and all of that. But you see some young people over there, like, they have this
hand-me-down mentality.
You know, and by the time I'm doing stuff, they're like, you're from Lagos, right? I say, oh, no wonder. You know, I attended an event one time, the theme was breaking the ceiling. I said, I've broken ceilings right from when I was 10. So there's no more ceiling to break. Because the breaking the ceiling is like, you know, taking risk. You have to teach your children how to take risk, how to be strong. Knowing that, because there's a saying I heard from Pastor Adeboye. He said, do you know that a son of a billionaire or a wealthy man can be wretched?
Absolutely.
That's to tell you that if you don't instill those values that that child needs to sustain that wealth, believe you me, you've just wasted the years. Because your mates will not live with you all their lives. So what will become of that child when those mates are gone? You see some parents now, they are the children. Why the children are their parents? You see some parents cannot chastise their children, cannot discipline their children, cannot talk to their children. And they form this class thing like, oh, he's not by Funel.
Absolutely.
It's not by Funel.
It's not by Funel.
It's not by Funel. Because your child can speak Funel and not deliver.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
You understand? So that's why the children of the people we consider, oh, they're Omotania, whose child are you? Oh, you are not anybody in the country. But those children are doing well.
Okay,
Let me throw this question.
Yeah, I wanted to say, let me just bring this away from value a bit and state of mindset. Yeah. You said something initially about how you came back to Nigeria and all, but there majority of the youths in Nigeria believe that until they leave this country, they cannot live the kind of life they deserve, or the kind of life that they are, like you said, they have tenacity, right? But the system is built in a way that your tenacity is not necessarily rewarded in the way it's supposed to be.
Sure.
So what would you say to people like that? How would you encourage them to sort of take away the victim mentality? I want to use that word because at the end of the day, every youth in Nigeria cannot leave Nigeria. Even if we want to, how many countries can accommodate you anyway? So what would that conversation be? Where do we start from? How do we begin to see ourselves as people that are in their father's home, right?
And still having that
find the opportunity where it is.
Okay, what I would say is, you know, in life, there are different ways to approach things. And my father used to say something that you can be right, and the way you approach things can be absolutely wrong. Now, I'm a victim in this country. But how did I approach it? That's where mentorship comes in. The change begins with you see all over the country. It belongs to me. I make bold to say it on this platform. But I do not approach it the way every normal person would have. Because I know I still have a lot to deliver here in Nigeria. Do you understand? Because the solution is not for everybody to be leaving this country. That's not the solution. And I'm someone that I do a lot of research. I have studied a lot of countries, and they also pay their price. Some of these countries we are going to today, you know, or Canada, or they also pay their price. America paid their price. Do you understand? And there are some countries you go to, no matter your qualification or your, you know, career, you will never pass a particular stage or level. So I want to be in a country where I have a voice. It's not that you don't have a voice over there. Yeah, I started as early as 21. I started as early as 21. You know, you need to get involved. You know, Mrs. Fashola said something to me one day, Chinasa. Said, what you're doing was what she did. He said, now you're young, working and doing everything. Tomorrow, when the opportunity comes, you are the first to be called upon. You can speak all the funne, oh, you're going to America. Oh, well done. But the thing is, we are looking for young people that will roll their sleeves and make Nigeria the country they want to see.
I like the way you name drop these people, like, you know, like somebody from the side of my road, right? But
yeah, she was coming.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you talked about mentorship, and you talked about getting everybody, you know, participating in the transformation we want to see. What about the leaders? What's the role or the leaders play in guiding the youth to participate in transformation they want to see in Nigeria?
Fantastic.
Because currently we do not have that in Nigeria.
Thank you. I think 30 years ago, some of the leaders we have today, they were young, right? And that's where the role of mentorship comes in. You know, when I say mentorship, mentorship is not, oh, I'm watching Barack Obama from afar, so, oh, he's my mentor. No, that's not my definition of mentorship. Mentorship is someone you sit with twice a week or twice a month, and you lay down everything that you're supposed to do. I have mentors, you know, and when you see some mentors, you write to them. A lot of young people don't want to be questioned. They don't want to be directed. As I am now, I cannot just travel just because I have the money. I have to give my mentors reason why I will have to do that trip. And they will not always tell you what you want to hear. One of my mentors is Mrs. Bola Adeshola of Standard Chartered. If you know her, Auntie Bola is brass blues. She will give you the way it is. Every year, January, she sits with me and she will tell me, Chinasa, lay down everything you need to achieve for the year. Another person is Mrs. Kufo Atijon of Total. These women, there are so many of them there that needs young people that they will direct. It's just that even the younger ladies, they're so, will I call it proud? Because you can wear Brazilian hair that Bola Adesola wears, hey, or, but that woman has more things in her hair than Brazilian hair.
Content.
That's it. You see someone like
so hilarious.
No, it's true. Because
she's talking about Brazilian hair. She's looking at me. Who is wearing Brazilian hair?
No.
Why is both straight? No, I'm just joking.
No,
but I love what you're saying.
The thing is, we need people in our lives
Chinasa,
that we tell you, because even most of these mentors, they have more opportunities for you. There are some opportunities that will come up in the board that you are not there. They'll mention you. So but you need to also go through their dark side. You need to go through their stern side, because they will not always tell you what you want to hear. They will not always tell you what pleases you. But all they're doing is that helping you to structure your life the way it should.
So Chinasa, I hear you clearly, but I see that you are an in-person person, you know, where everything has to be, you're a touchy-feely person, you know, because I believe that mentorship is not always, it doesn't always have to be someone that you have that proximity with, because trust me,
it should be.
It should.
It should be.
No.
My mentor,
yeah,
Mrs. Ajola Aziz, meets with her mentor, John Maxwell, twice a year.
So
you don't just see someone from afar.
Well, let me explain why I say so. There would always be a time where that proximity would get to that state. But you see, where we are as young people, because if you say this now, somebody will be feeling like, the person that always wanted to mentor me, I can't reach that person.
They will come and reach you.
No, you cannot reach me. You know what I'm saying is, you can actually start from somewhere.
That's it.
Mentorship relationship starts from you being introduced to the person's world. So you find their books, you find content they've done, you read up on all those things. The opportunity will then come. It might be years later where you now have that proximity with that person. That is the stage. But at the beginner stage of mentorship, I don't believe I need to meet anybody. Do you understand? I mean, Mrs. Fashola calls me once in a while, well, you're doing a great job, well done. Pastor Sam and Nike called me on my birthday. We see the great work you're doing. These people watch from afar.
Okay.
Your job as a young person, why I'm saying this is because we have a lot of young people watching. So that you do not feel pressure to feel like I need to have that one-on-one relationship with the mentor when you are not there yet. Because trust me, even these mentors is because you are doing well. You have built some level of tenacity, reputation, you have built consistency in what it is that you're doing, then they believe that Chinasa has earned my time.
Exactly.
Do you understand? Because some people, truly, they are not ready for the time that these mentors want to give them. They've not earned it. So you need to get to that stage. Do you understand? So that's where I am coming
now,
from.
the another thing is, a true mentor is the one that picks you up when you've not even identified
the diamond in the rough,
yourself.
right? I get you.
When you've not identified yourself. And these women that I mentioned picked me up when I've not found myself.
So,
do you understand? So it's not until you build, anyone that picks you up, it might be destiny. I won't condemn that. Do you understand? But from your conversation as well, I can see someone that is shy, is not ready to take that step to go and meet anybody. I don't want them to feel I'm disturbing them. I'm coming there. I don't want anybody to embarrass me. I remember one time, there was one time I went to Arena in London and they were having a program. So some of my siblings went to would say, okay, let's use the opportunity. We can't see that Jew in Nigeria. Let's see that Jew in London, the wife. So we got there and they were like, are you on appointment? I said, no. My sisters, Tokwe and Bisola, they were like, hey, we've said it to Chinasa, let's go back. I said, I'm not going back. They said, I said, I'm not on appointment. He said, so you can't see her. I said, like, seriously, you mean I travel all the way from Nigeria, I will not see her. So, do you know, as I was having a conversation, in a polite way, I wasn't insulting, you know. That's how Momujio heard that. Who is she? Who is she? Allow her in. I said, no. And the moment they opened the door, my cousin just ran. I said, where are you going to? You know, so even when we told Momujio what happened, she started laughing. And she said, do you know what you have done? You just applied tenacity, not giving up. Do you understand? My second name is embarrassment. Yes, because if you teach your children that way, they will be able to overcome any
and break all the barriers.
That is it. Because some of these women, they are not as tough or unapproachable as people see them.
Perceived.
Do you understand? Not until you go, you wouldn't know.
So if you had one thing to say to a young person, because we actually ran out of time, as always, to say to a young person out there, you know, about taking responsibility, where would be a good place to start?
Well, what I would say is they should look inward and make a decision of what they want to become and where they are going. So by that, it will help them also discover. And they should be open. Speak to people. When you talk to people, you get solutions. Don't be shy. Don't be intimidated. Don't be naive. Ignorance is not an excuse. Because to me, personal responsibility is the most essential credentials to national transformation. So it has to be personal. When we all came out at the Lekki tour, it was a personal decision. No youth that didn't participate, either physical, from diaspora, virtually. So it was a personal, there was no excuse. So in building your life and your nation, because Nigeria, I do not have any other country to call my own. So loving your country is not a choice. It's not or maybe not. It's something you have to deliberately do, because we don't have any other country.
Absolutely. On that
I
note.
like your passion.
Yeah.
But I'm just shocked the way she's glued and looking at me, you know, like.
On that note,
Nigeria, you know.
we will come and learn how not to be embarrassed for you.
No, for real. No, for real.
But thank you so much, Chinasa. I think we've had a fantastic
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Isi.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Elsie Godwin. All right, so before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. Is at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us, drop a comment. And we have 2 giveaways currently running. In case you are not following us on Instagram, you will not know. We have 5 lucky viewers would win. Okay, so we have the scholarship program for women. This is just 10 slots available.
And it's perfect after this conversation.
Yes, 10 slots available. It's a mentorship program and leadership program for women in business. This is a fantastic opportunity for you to transform your business and take it to the next level. Then again, for those people that saw my birthday shoots, the hair is actually going. 5 lucky winners get to go home with this lovely hair. Elsie says that the task I gave you guys, wait, let me talk to my people. Elsie said the task I gave you guys is too hard. It's not hard. Just, I want to be sure that you are watching ways. You're not just winning our hair. So just do a video and tell us, mimic Elsie. Just look at her and mimic her. And tell us how you take care of your hair. It's so simple. Like, how difficult is that? All right, so just do those. Those 2 giveaways are currently running. More will come in this week. More giveaways are coming in this week. So we are planning to give so much out before the Christmas season. All right, so thank you for watching. If you missed today's quote, here it is again. It is only when you take responsibility for your life that you discover how powerful you truly are. This is a very, very strong quote. You need to sit on it, think about it, and start, like Chinasa had said, start looking within and identify what you want to become. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
Thank you.